Hey, everybody. We are live. Looks like the old Twitterverse is giving us some trouble this morning, but that's okay. That's okay. We're just going to go live with Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Everybody, oh, it looks like Mary's here with us. Donna's here with us. So thank you. Thank you for joining us. I am excited. It's Monday morning, which means another full week of live streaming for us. And this morning, we have an extra special guest. Judith, if you don't know our Canvas family, you're about to know her. She is one of our newfound favorite Canvas users, and she may be a former Blackboard administrator who has found the light, is now on the right side, and we're happy to have her. I'm joined by my good friend Ryan Lufkin, who is going to help moderate and run this session with Judith. So with that, Ryan, I'll leave it in your hands. Judith, good luck, and we'll talk to you soon.
Excellent. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and if you don't know me, my name is Ryan Lufkin. I'm the Director of Product Marketing for Canvas. But I'm going to actually hand it right off to Judith and have her introduce herself and tell us a little bit about NACC.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. I am Judith Lea. I'm the Director of the Technology Learning Center at Northeast Alabama Community College. I've been at Northeast my entire career because I'm an adult learner and I didn't start to college until I was 40 years old. After that, Dr. David Campbell, who had just become president of Northeast, hired me as a computer technician. I actually think I was Dr. Campbell's first hire. So he and I have that special bond through Northeast. He had been an instructor there for many years. And then through the encouragement of the administration at Northeast, I continued on and earned a bachelor's degree from Athens State and then a master's degree from Troy University. So I've been at Northeast for 19 years. So if you've done the math, you now know how old I am because we're not going to go back and talk about that. So a little more, when I first became the director of the TLC, and Ryan, you can go to the next slide. We were a Blackboard school. I had been a Blackboard administrator for 15 years, but we have now been a Canvas school for almost 4. And I will tell you that I love it. I will not go back, and I have almost 20 years. So should anything ever happen to my Canvas, I would probably retire. But I did kind of come to Canvas kicking and screaming, but wouldn't change it for anything. It's just been one of the best things that's ever happened to Northeast and to our faculty and staff there. You know, the past few months, we've all kind of had to move out of our comfort zone a little bit, so and try new things. And so I think once you do that, you realize, hey, I was kind of missing something because we were stuck in that and we didn't want to move forward. And so Canvas was one of those things that kind of caused me to move forward. The technology that we have at Northeast is state of the art. I always like to say that we are cooking with gas. Anytime I go to a conference, I come back and I always say, we got the best. Dr. Campbell always ensures that we have the latest and the greatest, and Canvas and the Canvas tools I'm going to talk about today will show you that. In 2018, several of the administrators in the ACCS were interested in starting an Alabama Canvas users group. So we talked about the possibility. We had been talking about the possibility for 2 years, but we had never really moved forward with that. And we did finally move forward with that after talking to Brandon Parker, who helped us with that from Instructure, and put together a leadership team, held our first meeting in April of 2019 with one of our sister schools, Southern Union. Nancy Bramlett and Beth Barker helped us host that. And at that meeting, Brandon opened his mouth, and I'm about to get him in trouble.
He's on the call. He told me beforehand that he was going to
well, I'm about to get you in trouble, Brandon. So he opened his mouth and said that all the schools there could have a trial version for 1 semester of the new studio tool, which back then was called ARC. And so I knew, because Dr. Campbell and our IT, Miss Patricia Falk, we always want to have the latest and greatest technology. Brandon, yes, Brandon, you know I don't have any secrets.
Hey, Judith, before we keep going, I have to just call out the fact that I feel like I have Justin Bieber or Katy Perry on the line right now, because we have never, ever had this many people that are like,
somebody showed up.
Judith is
Awesome,
the
I
most
love it.
incredible thing that's ever happened. She's so amazing. We love her. So holy cow.
Well,
My
I
friends in
tell-
Alabama, be careful because I'm afraid Judith's going to be tried to be stolen after this. I've got
Oh,
somebody
no.
who just said, would it be possible for Judith to narrate my life story? So you are loved and you're doing a great job. So keep it up.
Okay.
Holy cow.
Thank you. Well, I work with such great people at Northeast that it makes my life so easy and makes my job so easy. And I always want to take care of them because they always take care of me. So we make a good team at Northeast and work good together. So, but back to Brandon, now that I've opened my mouth and got him in trouble. And Patricia says, no, you can't have me. So she's on my team, or I'm on her team, or we're on the same team. But she helps to see that we have the latest and greatest technology. So we did have our first Canvas Alabama Users Group meeting, and Brandon opened that mouth of his. And so I jumped on that. And what I tell my faculty whenever we have a pilot of something, use it or lose it. And did they ever use it? And I will tell you during our time together how they used it. But they embraced Studio like no tool that we had ever had. They have created thousands of video files. Our math department alone has over 200 videos. Mr. Adam Niblett, he got on that, and I'm going to talk a little more about Adam. And so Studio, it can be used in so many ways to deliver content. The options are just endless. But today I want us to talk a little bit about class orientations, lectures, how-tos, demonstrations, and then some assignment submissions. So a little bit about class orientations. Getting started in an online class is often the most difficult thing that a student does. And, they'll drop that class just because they log in and they don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. And so M.M. McKinnon is one of our psychology instructors, and she has used Canvas to create a class orientation for her students. And she also uses publisher content, which requires an access code. And, that sometimes can be a barrier, or just I don't know what to do, and help with the students. So through Studio, she has created, she introduces herself. So there they see that personal face. They know who they're going to be dealing with all semester and who's going to be there to help them. She helps them. She walks them through her course navigation. She helps them and shows them exactly how to enter that access code that they've gotten from Cengage and where to put that. And one thing that I love about her orientation, she has it set up so that students can leave that comment. In a Canvas file, it's not just the instructors just regurgitating that information, and then you don't have any input. A student can go back and leave a comment, and then that instructor can go back and she can also leave a comment. So maybe she missed something, or maybe a student just is uncertain about something. She can go back and answer that question on that Studio file, and then everyone can see that. So it just makes life so much better.
And that's honestly one of the biggest questions we get from our support team, or to our support team, is when we're trying to integrate the third-party apps. And it's really hard for them to actually address those because they don't always know the access codes or how to point people in the right direction. So great example of how to use it here.
Yeah. And KH has asked, do we have a fake student to use for orientation, or should she just use the student view? She does use the student view, and then I do also have a fake student, so they can go back and forth, because you can't access the publisher content unless you have an account, a student account, and so that helps to do that. Cengage has been really great about working with us sometimes and giving us that one student account so that we can walk the student through every step of getting in there. Another point on that might be helpful too is, Cengage and the publishers are bad to, I say bad, I shouldn't use that word, but anyway, when they publish their materials, they have their website, like go to cengage.com to enter your code, because they have their own instance of Canvas, but we don't want our students to do that. We want everything to be in our our Canvas. So we have Pearson integrated, we have Cengage integrated, we have all of our publishers integrated. So we want them to be able to do that.
That's awesome.
Okay, what was next? So lectures. So let's talk about lectures a little bit. So this is Jeffrey Howe. He is one of our English instructors, and I'm going to tell a tale on Jeffrey. Is he out? Can y'all see if he's online? Don't tell him. So the first time Jeffrey created a studio file, he wanted me to look at it, and it was like 55 minutes, and I just said, you know, they won't watch it. Students won't watch it. And
Sure.
I know they sit in your classroom for 55 minutes because they're a captured audience. It's like locking the door of the car when you're going to talk to your teenager about something that's uncomfortable. They can't get out of there, but online they can get out, they can leave. And so you'll notice here, Jeff has now a 3-minute and 15-second video. So while Studio does not have a limit, and you can create that hour-long lecture if you think your students are going to watch it, good luck. But you'll notice that most of our files are going to be short snippets because that's where they're going to engage the students the most. They're going to capture their attention, and they're going to hold their attention. So we do use Studio a lot for to deliver class lectures. And of course, because of this pandemic, it has just been a lifesaver. So yes, our online instructors were using it. And some of our face-to-face instructors were already using it. And of course, now more and more instructors are using it. We have a top-ranked nursing program, and they capture all of their face-to-face lectures and then make them available in Canvas. And that way, students have access to go back to that. They can review that. It's like having 24/7 access to their instructors. They can use it for remediation. They teach from a PowerPoint. So in Canvas, you have that screen capture and your camera capture. So while the instructor's down at the bottom of the screen, and that keeps the student more connected to the instructor, the PowerPoint's there, and so they can just lecture from that PowerPoint, and then the students can take notes. They publish their PowerPoints inside Canvas. The students come to the Technology Learning Center. They print those PowerPoints off with the note slides out beside them. Of course, unfortunately, they can't do that right now because we're not on campus, but we'll be back. And then they take notes from that. They can take notes in class, and then when they go back and review those files, they can add more notes to it. Another great thing about Studio is the quizzes. So they can go back after they've captured that face-to-face lecture, and they can add some little quizzes in there. They have multiple choice, true, false, and multiple answer questions that they can add. And this kind of sets the students up for some remediation and for some practice, so that when that exam comes along, the students have been like, this is a key fact. This is a key fact. I need to remember this because a question popped up. They can set that so that the students do not know where the questions are going to be. And that way, that's going to keep them engaged for the entire lecture. Of course, now, like here with Mr. Howes, you know, he's got a 3-minute because he's just going over something about a poem. But in the nursing program, you know, their files are going to be longer.
I think I told you the story last year. We actually rolled the video quizzing feature out at EDUCAUSE last year, and the line for lunch wrapped around our booth, and I was watching people get out of line to watch the demo. David Lyons, who's one of our great SEs, demoing the video quizzing and how it integrated directly to the grade book. And people were getting out of line to watch it, and I was like, all right, this is going to be a well-loved feature if they get out of line for lunch to actually watch the demo. So
yes, it is a well-loved feature. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Ryan, because it does integrate into the grade book. If you bring the Studio file in as an external tool, there's many different ways to bring that Studio file in, but if you bring it in, it has that little quiz on it. If you bring it in as an external tool, and then you've got those 3 question types on there, it will grade it itself. So KH has asked again, do you mean the questions are embedded directly into the video using Canvas Studio? Yes, they are. You once you go to your library where your file is stored, you'll have the option to create a quiz on top of that. And And you can use that video 2 times. You can use that video with the quiz, and then you can use the video without the quiz.
Yep.
So if you want to just put the video in the file, in a page or in a discussion board, anywhere that you have the rich text editor, you can put that video. So you can put that video in your class as a file, and then later you can go back and put that video in there with a quiz embedded on it as an assignment. So. All right, and I didn't mention the film clips, but another one of our English instructors, Mr. Everett Reeves, he loves film clips, and he loves to get the discussion started in his lit classes. And so he will put just a short film clip in his studio library, make it available to his students, and then they view that before coming to class. And then his class discussion is ready because they've made their notes, they have their questions, and they know what they're going to talk about. KH has asked again, is it tied to the quiz database? Meaning, could it do? No, it's not. You create your quizzes and type them in, very, very short, multiple choice, true, false, or multiple answers. So, it's a great tool, and it's a great. It helps the students to be another way to get them prepared for that exam that you're going to use that quiz database on.
Yeah, and you talked, I mean, those longer videos, students really do have a hard time staying engaged. Mm-hmm. And just that interaction of having a quiz, question pop up periodically really does increase engagement. We've got data to support that
yes.
Scientifically, it really does help. But I just think from an end user standpoint, it keeps them focused in ways that are hard to accomplish otherwise.
Yes, if they just think it's just you or the instructor talking, then they look down and see, like right here at Mr. Howes, you see that 3 minutes and 15 seconds. I'm going to watch that. Most everybody's going to watch that. But if I look down there and it said an hour and 15 minutes, then I'm going to need a little boost to encourage me to watch that. Yeah.
Or I might wander off to get a snack,
yes,
that kind of thing.
And let it play in the background. Yeah. Okay, another thing that we're using Studio for is how-tos. So, and this is where I'm going to brag on Mr. Adam Niblett. You'll see I did put one of his up there. But Mr. Niblett has created over 200 videos just like during the trial period. I've not pulled a count to see how many he's got recently. We have a large dual enrollment population, so we have a lot of high school instructors that are teaching college level classes as well. And while everybody has 2 jobs nowadays, most people do, Adam has been courteous enough for his adjuncts to create these videos and then share them out. So within your studio library, you can share your video with multiple people, and then it just hops over into their library. And so that way they don't have to reinvent the wheel or recreate that video. We have a lot of our students transfer to the universities. UAH is one of our universities, high engineering school, and studies show that our math students typically do better as transfer students than the students that started there. And I attribute a lot of that to Mr. Niblett and the way he runs the math department, and the fact that he's so conscientious of all of the instructors in his division and the things that he's providing them. And Canvas Studio has been one of his favorite new tools because it has really helped to make his life so much easier and save him so much time.
Yeah. That ability to share those videos with other instructors is amazing. We actually have some functionality that's coming out in the relatively near future, which will allow you to create collections and share those collections with different groups within the organization. So just more ways of the organization controlling that content and sharing that content.
Oh, that'd be great. He'll love that because then he can group them into Cal 1 and high level maths. And Adam will be excited to.
Yeah, it'll make it a lot easier to navigate, to share. We're excited. That's coming out in the very near future. So
good. One thing that I think has been relevant in with Adam, we've always used Pearson, my math lab, but and I think we talked a little bit about this before, Ryan, but studies have shown that, when students actually relate to that person on that screen, they're going to be more engaged with the content. They're going to pay more attention. So while Pearson may have lots of great videos. It's like that talking head. There's not really a person there. And once Adam does this, everybody knows Mr. Niblet. And so the students are better engaged when they see that person, just like with Mr. Howe or any of our instructors. There's lots of great YouTube videos, and that's one thing that you can use with Studio is you can pull those YouTube videos in. But when our students see our instructors or their instructor, they feel like they're talking directly to them, and it just makes it so much more personable. And
it's interesting because we've all got a supercomputer with a high definition camera, video camera in our pockets, and I think sometimes we don't think about how easy it is to create those little introductory videos and how much that face-to-face connection means. So I love that you called that out.
Yeah. Another thing you'll see on this screen is I've got a couple of how-tos, how to add Proctorio extension, how to use Microsoft Teams. So once I get a question from a student about something like this, it's so easy for me to go in there and create that short video. Now, it looks like I got a little lengthy on that Microsoft Team. That's a full 7 minutes. But typically it's a short, even 1 to 3 minute video showing the student how, and then I just send it out, share it to that student. And then the next time I get that question, because as the Canvas administrator, I don't have a class of 30 or a group of 180, I have all the students. So instead of, trying to answer that email in text to that student, I just go out and share that video. They speak a different technology language than I do. And, I may get an email from them that says, I don't know how to do that thing on that page. And so, this Studio has just saved me so much time. And there the student has that. They can stop me. They can pause me. They can rewind me. They can go back and do that step by step, like I call a recipe. They can do one step, pause it, go back and do the next step, pause it. And so it's been a lifesaver to me to be able to do that. We do have 2 proctoring tools. We have Respondus Lockdown Browser and Proctorio, and so being able to create these Studio files to help the students, get that installed and answer that, it has been a lifesaver. And then, of course, the Microsoft Teams, you see that one where I did get a little lengthy with 7 minutes, but that's a new tool that Canvas just partnered with Microsoft in March the 19th, I think was the day. Thank you, KH. Thank you so much. That's so sweet of you to say. We wanted our students and our instructors to immediately embrace Microsoft Teams and start using that. And so creating that, having the opportunity and the having that Studio there where I can just say, here it is, that was a great place for them to get started.
Yeah.
All right. Are we good? Is everybody good? Am I talking too fast? I told.
I think you're doing great. Keep it up.
Miss Whitten's a good friend of mine, and I was so nervous this morning, and she said, you'll be fine because you're talking about something you know and love. And I said, well, then we may never get through because I can talk about Canvas all day.
So can I. So we should be, I'm trying to keep my mouth shut.
Everybody will leave us and go eat lunch, Ryan, and me, you'll just be stuck here. Another way that we're using Studio is through demonstrations, which is kind of along the same line of how-tos. We offer a large career tech program. And so once the stay at order home was issued, we had a lot of questions of, how are we going to do this? What are we going to do? How are we going to do our skills check off? How are we going to demonstrate to our students? And so this has probably been one of the best usage of the Studio tool just during the pandemic. Because of that, I don't know that we would have been able to have been so successful with our classes without Studio. Yes, our instructors could have probably found some YouTube videos, but as we spoke about earlier, going back and seeing your instructor do this task is much, much different. And you'll see in the top 2, we've got Miss Barbara Kilgore. She is an art instructor, and she is amazing. I could not say enough great things about her. While her program is not necessarily career tech, it is hands-on. And Barbara does a lot of project-based learning with her students. And you'll see she's got a lot of, like, she's got a 2-minute video, a 3-minute video. So all of her videos are short, to the point. She's got drawing videos, sculpting videos. I think she had one on modeling an ear and drawing a nose, and things that her students need to know. And so even before we were quarantined, she was using Studio just to show a student how to draw something in class. And, when you're in a class of 30 or 45 students and you're standing at the front and you're showing everybody how to do that, that's great. But then when you've created that video and the student can go home and they can take their drawing pad and they can watch Miss Kilgore do that again and again and again, it just helps the student to perfect their art. And so she has really done amazing things with that. She's very passionate about her art. She wants her students to be the best they can be. And I really feel like they are, because of the added effort that she puts in.
It's interesting, when we were developing Studio, Peter Quake, who's the product owner for Studio, we've actually talked about nursing programs and some of the skills programs and how impactful they are with the video quizzing and the ability to have like a dialogue question back and forth directly within the video. But it's interesting, we've actually heard a number of schools, art professors, art programs using it, and it was kind of one of those use cases that we hadn't really thought through, but it's really that back and forth and that very visual aspect really has an impact on the creative, anything creative beyond just the skills programs.
Yes, agreed. Yes.
Yeah.
The bottom video is one of our nursing instructors, Miss Wendy Holloway, and she's in our Sims lab on campus. And so she is demonstrating using the Sims lab. She's created files demonstrating sterile dressing changes, trach care, cath care, IV therapy. So, this is so awesome for the students to have this face-to-face. And even, again, should they be in the lab, in person, in a setting, sometimes they can't always see, everything that's going on. And so by being able to have these videos, again, they can fast forward, rewind. And so I think it's just that added tool that our instructors have taken that extra care to make sure that our students, that they have that. So I could go on and on and on about our career tech programs, because we have really embraced Studio and the many different things they're using. I've got our salon students up there, and I'm going to talk about them in just a minute. But Miss Regina Gilliland has done such a great job with them and using Studio. And I'm sure that when we return to campus, their library is just going to continue to grow, because they're just going to add more and more and more videos, because they've discovered what a time saver it is and how beneficiary it is to the students to view the videos. And then you can view the video and then go into the lab. So like with Miss Holloway in the nursing class, they could view this video, then go into the lab, and then so they've already got that foundation set of what she's going to expect of them. And again, they can leave comments on these videos, ask their questions on the videos, and then the instructors can go back and comment to them. And then the final way is through student submissions. And the picture here is of a student submission. Some of our nursing students had to do a group project, and this was their group project, and the instructors had them submitted in a way where the entire class could view that. And you'll see the little bubbles that have popped up, and that's where students have made comments to them. This student submission was the primary reason that we first were really interested in Canvas, and it had to do with our online speech classes. We were struggling, and I was struggling. Let me put it that way. I was struggling because students would come to the lab and they would have videoed them. Somebody videoed them on their phone, and then the file was 2 gigabytes, and then they were trying to turn it in just through the submission manager, and it would time out, and then it would be in a format that I had never seen before, and nobody else had ever seen before. And so now it doesn't matter if it's 2 gigabytes or if it's in that weird file format. We just upload that to Studio and it converts it. Instructors can view it. They don't have to worry about it being too big. They don't have to worry about what file format it's in. Studio eliminated all those problems. So that was why we originally got it. And then you see how we've expanded and all the other things we've done. And I talked a little bit about Regina Gilliland, one of our cosmetology instructors. I think that she would probably tell you that Studio has become her new best friend. Her students have created some awesome videos with perms and haircuts and all their checkoff lists. They have to do hours of clinicals, hands-on, and so they've used Studio for this. I told somebody I viewed some of them one day with her, and I said, their poor mannequin heads have become famous because they are in video after video. It's like they got a perm, then they got a haircut, then they got a new style.
That's awesome.
And so they have really, really embraced it. And I think the students have enjoyed it. And she did a demonstration the other day as part of one of the ACCS webinars. And she actually highlighted a student that had really struggled in the lab and face-to-face. And she said once they went home and he could video himself and then watch it, he's seen where he was making the mistakes. Yeah. And then he could go back and correct those and re-record his video before he actually submitted it. So she said he had really come a long way just since we had been at home, and she felt like Studio had a lot to do with that.
Yeah. Well, I think the younger students especially are so used to that idea of recording themselves. Social media, TikTok, things like that have really made them so used to creating videos and editing themselves that way. They're used to it. And so Studio facilitates that in an interesting way that I think bridges the gap,
Yeah, I agree. I think so. And as Regina said, she felt like too, it had made him a lot more comfortable with what he was doing. He had become more at ease with it and more comfortable. So, of course, one of the great things about Studio is that you've already got all these files. Before this, some of our instructors had subscriptions to other video streaming. I know Denise Patterson, one of our biology instructors, had a subscription to Screen-O-Matic, I think. Well, she didn't have to reinvent the wheel. These videos were already on her computer. She just pulled them into Studio and made them just much more accessible to our students and just much easier to find. Not to mention the fact that because Studio is a third-party tool, it does not count against our instructors' disk space within their Canvas course. So it's like its own library, and it doesn't count against that. And then too, you do have the option of the YouTube video. So if you find a great YouTube video, then just use that YouTube video and upload it, and it'll convert that. So, I mean, whether it's our cosmetology students giving a perm or, our nursing students doing a mock interview or a speech or a poetry reading from our lit students, it can be done in Studio. We've really just not found anything that can't do it, and I know sometimes I'm afraid my instructors will get tired of me saying, have you tried Studio? Because I think you can do what you're wanting to do with Studio. I think Studio is your tool. I think you can do it there. So we really want Canvas to be a one-stop shop. Students have so many usernames and passwords and this and that. And so we want them to be able to go to Canvas and all the teaching and all the learning take place within there as much as possible. So Studio has been one of those tools that has helped us to do that.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I, my 15-year-old daughter and my 9-year-old son both use Canvas at school, and I think that's one of the biggest hurdles is if you're not using LTI integrated tools and pulling them all into Canvas, it can be really confusing to remember all those different passwords and navigate to the different sites. You can pull that all into Canvas and create that one-stop shop. So your vision is exactly aligned with how we design Canvas, what we designed Canvas for. So that's awesome.
Yes. My 7th grade grandson in North Carolina, of course, everybody's at home. And so his science teacher is using Canvas. His literature teacher is using Google Classroom.
Yep.
And then his art teacher was using some other platform I never had heard about. And he called me one day and he said, Gran, I'm going to need you to talk to my teachers because they all need to get in Canvas.
I had a very similar conversation with my 15-year-old yesterday morning. So I know exactly how that is.
Yeah, I was like, John David, I would love to talk to your teachers and get them all in Canvas, but that's a different state.
If you're just using that to ease the navigation for students, wow, that in and of itself saves a lot of pain for parents and students.
Yes, it does. And I was actually my daughter-in-law had been struggling. And so, Canvas, you had done the live parent session. And
I think that might be like one of our most viewed live streams.
I shared that with Natalie. I was like, Natalie, you need to view this and then you're going to be able to assist John David better. So
yeah, I shared it out through my Facebook as well, making sure that, hey, fellow parents, if you need this, it's right here.
It's right here. Yeah. Well, that's all I have, Ryan, unless we have any questions. Just kind of to recap, the things that we're using it for. And basically, I think I told you, I don't know of anything that we can't use it for.
And if you do now, you know exactly who to call to get those fast tracks. So that's
yes. And if somebody out there knows another way that we're not using it, we want to know. So
exactly.
I often tell them the best ideas I ever had were those I borrowed from somebody else. So if you've got an idea of how we could use Studio, you let me know because I'll be glad to get my instructors to use it. I want to make their life easier. That's what my job is on a daily basis, is to help them with their time management and to give them the tools that's going to make their life easier.
Well, based on how much the audience responded positively in the comments, I'm pretty sure you're doing a great job like that. So keep it up. That's awesome.
I hope so. There's another one. Thank you, Miss Amber. I'm getting a lot of love today. So here's my email address. And if there's anybody that's not from Northeast that I can help you or answer questions about Canvas or any of the Canvas tools, I would love to. Again, I'm a true believer. My little granddaughter had to watch the Chronicles of Christmas or something last night. I was like, that's a Christmas movie. But anyway, one of the things in there was being a true believer, and I am a true believer in Canvas. It's a great product.
And we have a blog about your experience and NACC's experience that's going to go live. I think it's live right now and should be in the comments here. If you don't see it there, just go to Canvas, instructure.com/Canvas, and it'll be posted there as well. But Judith, thank you so much for telling us your story today. You could actually come back and, like somebody said, narrate your life story, anybody's life story. It's awesome to talk to you. Okay,
let me plug the blog a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
The blog is not just about me in Northeast, but about Ann Strickland from Coastal Community College and Amy Mosley from Enterprise State and Melissa from Trenton State, because we are all in the Alabama Community College system, and we are all Canvas users and Canvas advocates. And we worked with Caitlin and just talked a little bit about how, as a system, that we have done some things within Canvas that has really been instrumental in helping our instructors and our students during this time of working from home and studying from home.
And it's a great story. Having read it already, it's a great story and really helpful to anybody that's trying to accomplish what you guys have already accomplished. So.
Well, I have enjoyed this thoroughly, even though I've been up since 2:30 and nervous wreck about it. And so I may work a little bit longer and I may clock out and take a nap.
You're done with us for the day. So thank you so much for your time, Judith. Yeah. And thanks to everybody that joined us today. We'll be back tomorrow at 10:30.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.